was chair of the Literacy Studies Department at Hofstra when 9/11 happened, and spent the day trying to trace everyone. Didn't realise that my son was on a subway underneath the World Trade Center, and he was fine, but it's had an impact. But many of the teachers that were in my classes, I had class the next night. And so I went to class and said to all these young master's students, we can meet, we can talk, we cannot meet, you decide what you want to do. And so the assignment that they had the week before was to bring 3 things in from their families that meant something very special to them, that had something to do with literacy. And every semester, because it was the beginning of the semester, we started off by sharing, something about our families. And so they had this task to do. And so what they said they would like to do was to talk about what had happened to them during 9/11, and then they would like to share a little bit of what they were. So that's what we did. And so there were teachers of children whose parents had been killed at 9/11. There were teachers who could see the World Trade and had watched as the and then there were several teachers whose husbands were either in the fire or police, who were now in the city. And so it was an extraordinary experience. And so they talked and shared what was happening, and all of them said they had no idea what they were going to do in school the following day, because school was starting back up. And they had brought in their things from home that were special, these 3 literacy things that I had asked them to bring. And so they started to share those. And one of them had one of those eggs that, it's not an egg, the Russian dolls. Sorry, I'll move back. The Russian dolls that fit in, they've got a special name which I can't remember right now. And so she's showing this doll that was her grandmother's, and she said that it was only when she was looking at this doll and thinking perhaps it was going to be one of her artifacts to bring into class, that she opened the last doll, and inside it was a note from her grandmother. So their stories were all like that. They brought things in. It's very hard to talk about this. But the thing that's so important about this to me, not that it matters what's important to me really, but it is important that the experience of talking and then sharing enabled them to go into their classrooms the next day and talk with their children and share family stories. And the following week when they came in, all of them said, I don't know about all of them, most of them said, how important the experience had been, because it had given them a way to work with their kids, to have conversations with their children that they were having difficulty having. The experience of 9/11, it took us through that semester. And all of the activities that we were involved in were in some way to support the teachers who were then supporting the kids. And it was the most extraordinary time of just intensely feeling, and we all felt it, didn't we? Everyone was pulling together, and we were able to do that in the classroom.